Welcome back in. Good
Hi,
morning,
Automotive.
Baton Rouge.
Oh, we forgot to change the name of the show.
We talked
keep
about
forgetting.
it. We keep forgetting. That's okay. Yeah. Good morning, Baton Rouge. If we ever want to compete with the law firm, I feel like it had to be.
We got to do something. We got to do something. We need to probably bring more energy.
You know, we don't get to go against like other sports shows.
All right.
We go against the law firm that's syndicated across like the region.
Maybe we need to go against less. Maybe we need to be less energetic because they're not very.
Like
they're pretty monotone.
Like do a whole show like Eeyore style.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Welcome into sports.
We're back again for whatever reason. I don't like it. I'd rather just lose. I'd rather just lose and, you know, everybody else win the awards.
I mean, this is what we do is an art form. Jake, can you even judge art?
No.
It's really its own category.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't.
Is. I was thinking about that the other day because somebody hit me up. It's like, hey, why doesn't OTB ever? I'm like, well, only one show gets nominated per station for all these things. And just we're not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
We've come to grips with that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 year we got nominated, we won. It is what it is, whatever. But you know what? We're kind of our own category. We're sports-ish. We're sports adjacent.
Sports entertainment.
Yeah, which is what the morning show should be because there's some young whippersnapper in his car right now that's headed to work. Maybe it's an older whippersnapper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably not very excited about work today.
Yeah.
Long weekend, 4th of July,
yeah, it's
family
Monday.
fun, food. It's Monday. And we just want that person to smile before they get out of their car and go to work.
We're talking about you.
Just one time.
Everybody.
So just one smile before you go to work. And maybe your Monday, just maybe, it feels a little bit better.
If we can make it just one little bit better, we've done our jobs. That's why I said it's an art form.
Before you get out of the car, if you're like, Flynn's an idiot.
Yeah. That's right.
He is.
So say, we're probably never going to win anything because we are at times huge idiots.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I mean.
But we're also businessmen and fathers. So
That we are. That we are, Derek. That we are. Also,
stuff.
we are sports-ish, so sports reporting. We throw it to our very sportsy video producer, Tay-Tay, because we all know about Greedy Williams, but there's going to be a new Greedy potentially in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that's right. Carnell Greedy James.
I like Greedy better.
Greedy James is that's he may be a 4-star in the rankings, so that's a 5-star name.
It is.
I mean, let's call it like it is.
People call me Greedy.
4-star safety from Manville, Texas. I would say out there in Matt's neck of the woods, but believe it or not, I have no idea where Manville is in
Manville?
Manvel. Manville.
Okay. Never heard of it. We're going to look it up.
So he committed on Thursday about 4 p.m. Of course he did, which, allows us to report on it 4 days after, which seems like it always happens. 6'1", 175 pounds. He is listed as a safety in the recruiting rankings, but there's a lot of people that believe he's going to make that transition to corner at LSU. We'll see if that ultimately does happen. 15th member of Lane Kiffin's 2027 class, which now ranks 11th nationally. I mean, think back to the last 2 weeks. It seems like 10 of those 15 members have all committed within the last 2 weeks. He's the second DB commit, joining 3-star cornerback Marquez Davis.
Okay, looks like Manville's just south of Houston.
There you go.
Near Pearland, near Alvin. Shout out Alvin.
I am very excited about this group of coaches and what they're doing in high school recruiting. Because, like, defensively, obviously, it's a lot of the same coaches that you had, and we know Blake Baker and that staff over there and what they've done. But for the coaches that come over from Ole Miss, like, they were so good in the portal over the last couple of years, and that's how they built their team. And you're going to be able to do it at a place like Ole Miss, I think, better through the portal than high school recruiting. Louisiana has incredible advantages for LSU. We've said it. We've talked about it. Everybody out there knows that. You have a lot of talent per capita, the most in the National Football League, and you are the biggest dog in the state. It's not close. There's no question. So you get to pick, for the most part, any of that talent that you want. Sure, you're going to have guys that go to Texas every now and again, go to A&M, maybe they go to Georgia. You're going to lose some. You can't have them all, but you're going to get most. And this staff is embracing high school recruiting. And I wasn't sure how that was going to go. It was really the only kind of question that I had about this staff was, you've done it so successfully for so long one way, are you going to be able to do both? and they have. And I think that is a great sign for LSU, and the fact that Lane Kiffin and his staff that came over from Ole Miss, they were embracing the advantages that you have at LSU through high school while also having the #1 transfer portal class.
Yep.
That is a good blend of two really good things. And if this continues, this is the LSU that we thought could be possible with somebody like Lane Kiffin at the helm.
Yeah, well, what's Lane's nickname?
The Portal King.
He's the Portal King. He wasn't known as the high school recruiting king, but you certainly bring in somebody that has that reputation with Coach Ogeron. So
Yeah.
they're really doing everything that you expect Lane and his staff to do when you're paying what you are, and you make the moves that you've done, and you've made the commitment to football that LSU certainly has done. These are the moves you expect, because not only is he swinging for the fences this year, but they're also setting themselves up to be really good in the future, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. We're looking at, we talked a couple weeks ago about offensive line commitments for like 2028.
Yeah.
They're not going to play till 2030,
Yep.
2031. Oh, it sounds so weird saying that. 2030. Give me a second. But
You just turned 41.
yeah,
Let it
just
happen.
turned 41. I know. So it's just one of those things that Lane Kiffin and his staff keep just doing the right things, setting themselves up for this year to be successful immediately, but to also have that long-term stability on their roster management. So, maybe in 3 or 4 years, they're not having to hit the portal so hard. So certainly good to see. We all knew that he was going to do awesome in the portal. I don't think we expected them to do this well this early in the high school recruiting. Maybe we should have
agree.
expected it. I mean, it's LSU. For
It
goodness
is,
sake.
but when you're adjusting to a style in a way that you haven't had to do because you had to do it another way, you're wondering what that time period is going to be. And they hit the ground running ever since they've been in Baton Rouge, which is, to me, it is an impressive feat that they can dominate high school recruiting like they have.
And like another thing before you get to that, it's like with the court of public opinion, the national talking heads, everybody talked about Lane Kiffin making this move. Like LSU is painted as the villain, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of negative press towards Lane and making that move, jumping ship to come to LSU. Well, we didn't really feel like it would affect LSU recruiting in the portal because money talks, right? People can overlook bad pub if there's money involved. You get paid more to go here than there, whatever. Where it would affect somebody is coming out of high school, right? And they just haven't let that happen. Like, all that has died down. I don't think there's any, that was a classic situation of once the dust settles, no one's going to care anymore.
Right.
Now, they're going to care 1 week this football season. It's going to all kick back up for 1 week, and it's going to be glorious, and we're going to beat the brakes off Ole Miss, a.k.a. our Canada, that week. But, if the negative messaging about Lane, the villain, the air quote villain role that LSU is going to play, I think we're kind of past that, because these high school kids, there's money involved with that, but it's not like transfer portal money. So it's not like the money's talking and bringing them here to overlook that. I just think that messaging's kind of died down. So it feels like, at least.
Yeah, and one of the points that you made is correct. If you continue to build through high school recruiting, then you won't have to do as deep of a dive, but then you still are in the portal, so you can do an elite dive into the portal. You have, hey, we're going to go get these 15 players, and all 15 of these players are going to be potential NFL guys. Or now, if you go get 40, 45 players, there's going to be some that don't work out. There's going to be some that aren't as good, right? There's going to be some that can't catch up to this level. But if you build it through high school and then you chase those 15 elite guys that you get every year, which, again, they have shown that they can be elite in the portal. You don't get the Portal King tag unless you're really good in there. That's the best case scenario for LSU football moving forward.
Yeah.
It's to have it built through Louisiana, built through high school, and you supplement your roster with 15 elite new players every year.
Yeah, you're not having to do what basketball did, right? And fill a roster so we can make sure, you don't want to have to be going and finding offensive linemen so you had a backup left guard. You want to be going and finding guys that are going to replace current guys on the roster that are good.
Yeah.
So you want to replace good with great in the portal. You just don't want to fill a gap and fill a void, which is certainly what they're.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do it.
You got to do it sometimes.
Look, you're recruiting guys right now, of course, out of high school that are going to play somewhere else.
Yes.
All right, and that's going to happen. And I don't even know what the percentage. I don't even know what percentage this day and age, like this year, as we sit here in 2026. Is it 26? Yeah, 2026. Like what the percentage of your high school signees every year actually only play for you in college? I would say it's less than 50.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that number out there. So, you got to get it. You have to have a little luck with it, but they're preparing themselves for a long-term run here. And that's exactly what we hoped and expected Lane and his staff to do. And I would say I use the word expected because there's a lot of expectations with the moves that were made by the LSU. By LSU. God.
I'm kind of sitting here and realizing that most teams that I root for are kind of now villains. I kind of don't hate it.
I would say LSU football. Like I said, I think the dust is settled.
Yeah, but
I really
it'll
do.
pick back up, like you said.
Like it'll pick up for a week, but everybody's gonna forget that whole situation.
It'll be 3 weeks.
Because there's
going to
be
before the week of the game, the week after.
Look, there's gonna be some college football. There's gonna be another gambling scheme that pops out, and
Texas
there's
Tech
gonna be things.
bit.
I think that there's things that have happened since Lane moved that are way worse. So relax, everybody.
Yeah, somebody on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, they were like, "Wait a minute, you were talking about Brendan Sorsby not accepting his fate and just wanting to sue everybody. Like, what's the difference between that and what's going on with Balogun?" I'm like, "Look, dum.
Do you hate America?
One, I think it was a Canadian. One
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Sorsby bet and did a wrong, and that wrong was way worse than getting a red card that should not have been a red card. And Balogun wasn't suing anyone; he had an appeal through an appeal process within the game. So, if you're trying to compare those two, it's just not going to meet in the middle.
Also, I like America, and I don't like Texas Tech, so I'm going to be biased.
That's true.
There's my other answer.
And that's the thing about life is it's not fair. We're going to
I don't
fight
care.
for what we want.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Balogun didn't bet on the match.
Yeah,
he
didn't gamble on.
He got a red card that, again, at minimum 90% of the people disagreed.
He didn't gamble on his own team's under.
Yes.
So,
But you also hear, you got to be unbiased. You have to treat it the same. I don't. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I don't really have to be unbiased.
This benefits America, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I can be very biased.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do what I want.
Belgium has appealed the appeal, by the way. So we'll see.
No.
They've appealed the
Well,
appeal.
I say we get
unless
ahead
that
of
gets
it.
through before tonight, good luck to you.
I say we go ahead and get ahead of it and appeal that appeal from the appeal.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what the U.S. lineup's going to be. They did, like I said, they did work, a couple days. I'm sure Pepe was starter, and that changes a little bit of your, the formation that you're going to be in. I don't know. Maybe they don't start Balogun. Maybe they just bring him in as a super sub. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't care. We don't even need him. We're going to dominate them. Okay, so if Flo doesn't play,
2-0?
2-0.
Okay. Fair enough.
Ain't no guess.
That's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take a break. More OTB when we come back here live from the Raising Cane's studio.
Off the bench.
All right, go see our friends over at Trash Rangers. TrashRangers.com is the website. Residential, commercial trash pickup. All right, welcome back in OTB here live from the Raising Cane's studio. Want to remind you about our friends over at K to Z. K to Z Outdoor Living. For us, at least, 4th of July, that screen. Oof.
Chewy.
I know it's going to be inside and outside, outside and inside, but the outdoor living this weekend was good for us because it saved us. Pretty hot out there this weekend, Bo. I don't know if you know, but you can still enjoy outside, right? If you had that motorized screen, you just put it down, you're watching TV out there, kids are playing. We got a little trampoline set up for Harlow right there in our little porch area that they have the outdoor motorized screen. Just press a button, goes down, press a button, goes up. It is incredibly easy. It is, and there's different levels to it as well, like how much you want it to shade. But for us, It certainly shades the entire area and also our living room, as I tell you all the time. KTOZBlinds.com is the website. KTOZBlinds.com is the website. Have Brandon Barton and team come out to your space, know your space, learn your space, change your space in a matter of minutes. They've done it for me. They'll certainly do it for you as well. KTOZBlinds.com. All right, last segment, we were talking about LSU and high school recruiting. And look, those players might be here. They might not end up here. What we do know is the players that are currently on the roster, the guys that are going to very soon, here in a couple of weeks, reconvene on the Ponderosa for a little training camp. As we look at the roster, as we look at the team, starting to look at maybe some areas that you're going to be focusing on the most. Is it going to be the quarterbacks? Is it going to be the running backs, the offensive line, the secondary, like whatever it might be, the linebackers? Tay, you obviously know this roster very well, and I'm going to give Matt some time to think about it here. If you were to go out to a training camp practice for the Fighting Tigers, where would you watch maybe a little bit closer of an eye, and why?
Offensive line, because it was so poor a year ago. I mean, I think that's your answer. I think getting Braylon Moore back is huge. I know that he didn't perform up to what we thought he was going to, but the scheme was really bad. I think the coaching was really bad. I think getting your center back is awesome. Jordan Seaton, #1 left tackle in the portal. I think Aliou Ba is the most underrated player you got in the portal just because he has almost 30 starts at a Power 4 program in Maryland. I think that's big for you. We talked about Bo Bordelon on Thursday, like what he could mean to this team as a fifth-year guy. I like the way they've revamped it. I think that's the spot, and it's honestly both lines of scrimmage. It's the O-line and the D-line because, I mean, look, the D-line, I thought they did as good of a job as they could. I thought Baker put them in a good position, but that was a group that left a little bit to be desired a year ago as well. A lot of big-time freshmen that you got coming in, so really both lines of scrimmage.
Let me, just for everybody listening out there, like, because we are going to get into training camp, and it's going to be monotonous for the football team and the coaches, and it will be monotonous for reporters as well, because you're going to go out there, and Nick Underhill talked about it a couple of weeks ago, like the inter squad practices when they practice with different teams, when the Saints do, like it breaks up the monotony a little bit. So there's people going to be looking for things to write about. Like when you read and you hear reports on offensive line, let me tell you, like from just somebody watching offensive line and defensive line performance in training camp, it is impossible to tell if they're doing bad or good. You are going to have to rely on what the coaches say. Like everybody's going to win a one-on-one rep and look good doing it. Like defensive line, offensive line. You just don't know. So it's just a little bit of like, just a heads up. Like you can get an idea of like who's physically looking dominant and like who's not giving up sacks and stuff like that. But like you can't really tell about who is outperforming who really on an offensive line battle. Quarterbacks, it's pretty cut and dry. Receivers, cut and dry. Defensive backs, linebackers, like all these other positions where they get to move in space and you can like literally see a lot of these one-on-one battles and how they're, is the safety down, is the coach yelling at them. Like you can see and kind of get a feel for how people are performing. Offensive line, it is so hard because you don't really know what you're looking at. You don't know who screwed up the mic call. You don't know who screwed up. Like if a tackle gets beat to the inside, he looks bad, but you don't know if the guard was supposed to push out to help him on the inside shoulder. Like you don't know a lot of these things, so it's really hard to tell. The best reporting that you can get is reporting on one-on-one drills, right? That's pretty much the only thing you can tell. But like you have to trust the coaching staff. They're going to give you some, give you the real messaging. And, most coaches don't really give you the real messaging, but you'll be able to tell. And you can also tell when coaches start yelling at people too. That's when you can tell if someone's screwed up. But like, I'm just giving you a warning. Like if you see reports like this guy's doing really bad, he might not be.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't really know, right? It's like
this guy's tearing up training camp.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like
maybe he's not because they just don't have. They got pads on, but it's not like live bullets.
Right.
It's like this guy's working on his rush move, so he's not doing a bull rush and things like that.
And it's good to get that information. I want that information, but you got to
certain positions.
Those positions specifically, interior lineman, defensive lineman, and offensive line, really hard to like tell just from a bystander in practice without knowing the play call, like if they're actually doing well or not.
I trust the staff to at least tell us what's going on. Because, like, okay, last year, like, and to your point, yes, guard, tackle, like individual assignments, but We're watching it last year, inside run, running backs ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter left, right, up the middle, nowhere. And then Brian Kelly would come into the press conference and be like, oh, yeah, I mean, look, the offensive line, like, they're where we want them to be. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, they're not. You can go out there, you can see.
They did
like,
inside run last year?
Oh, yeah, they
I
did a
missed
little.
it.
And they did, like, goal line period. On goal line period, they were from the 5-yard line, couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because their O-line was bad. And Kelly would come in and say, oh, well, you know, it's fine. Like, we're progressing. It's like, dude, you're 2 weeks before the first game. And you can't score from the 5-yard line against your defense in practice. Like, no,
Well, in
you're
fairness,
not good.
they couldn't do it in the game either.
That's true. It did translate over.
Like 2nd and 1 was a bad down and distance for us. Don't get 9 yards on first down, please. I don't want to be a yard away from this first down. Chew. Well,
A reminder, the defense had to walk through run fits last year before Clemson because they didn't get that action in training camp against the offense.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of all we need to say about that. So you're not certain position group. I mean, just more like skill guys, I guess, because of what you just said
I mean,
about
it's
the line. And
easier
I
for
agree.
people. It's easier for people that aren't a part under that roof for meetings and know the game plan.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier for people
I
to
agree.
tell who's looking good and performing well, right? It's hard
Yeah.
to tell if somebody's performing
Right.
good or bad on the
For me,
offensive
like,
line.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. For me, it's what are the reps? Who's getting the breakdown
Yeah,
of the reps?
right.
That's what I pay attention to because that means throughout training camp, they've done the things that the coaches believe in. As you get closer to game time,
Yep.
if you see the reps change, that means this guy's done better. They believe in this guy more. So, like, I would want to go to camp, sometime in the middle of August, and I'd want to see the running back rotation. Now, I'm biased towards the position, obviously, and your eyes are going to take you to the position that you know best, just like you'd probably be watching the quarterbacks. Because I want to see what the rotation, Harlem Berry, Caden Durham, Dylan Jones, what does that look like? There's a lot of people in that building that believe Dylan Jones is going to be a force on this offense. And he's coming over. He doesn't have a lot of stats. They got him out of the portal, and he, I think, surprised a lot of people, certainly guys on the defense during spring practice. Now, spring practice is spring practice. Does that move on to training camp?
Yeah.
Does what he does in training camp move on to the first game of the year against Clemson?
I don't
in
think
Death
they've been
Valley?
trying to hide that either.
No.
Yeah.
No, they have not. But again, when you have conversations with guys on the other side of the football, when you say, hey, give me some guys on offense that are, showing out a little bit, I would say 75% of them were telling me Dylan Jones during the spring. Now, spring's one thing. Training camp's another. 10 days out of the first game's another thing. Like, that's a new kind of phase of getting ready for the season. I think Harlem Berry and Caden Durham are incredibly talented. Harlem Berry was the number one back in the country coming out. He certainly had flashes last year. Caden Durham was top freshman in the SEC a couple of years ago. I thought he had some good moments last year, even if people didn't want to talk about him. They're good backs, but Jones is now part of that conversation, and it's okay. It's okay to have three running backs. When you look at LSU throughout its history, the most successful seasons outside of one, they have had a running back by committee. In 2003, right, at different times. It was Allie, it was Adai, it was Chiron, and it finished with Justin. In 2007, we had me, Keelan, Chuck, Trenton Holiday was even part of that backfield, right? I mean, Trenton did big things in the backfield. We had two fullbacks that year. That's right, fullbacks. I'll explain what that is later. In 2011, they didn't finish it. They're a damn good football team, and they had a running back room that had like 3 to 4 guys that rotated. 19's the only one that didn't. And that was, look, Clyde played more than any running back in D1, I believe, that year. He's like 93% of the snaps. Remember, your two backups were freshmen on that team. So you had Clyde out there, and he was going to be the guy that got a bulk of the carries. And he did, like more than any back in the country that year, as far as playing time, not carries. So it's okay. Like 3 of LSU's 4 most successful seasons in the last 26 years, you had a running back by committee. That is a position you don't have to have the bell cow. You can have a guy that's the leader, like he's RB1, but you can have a RB1B, C, and sometimes even D.
It'll be exciting to see how Lane Kiffin utilizes such depth at the running back position. Obviously, he's had great offenses. That's why he's here. That's why he's Lane Kiffin that we know today. But last year was Kyron Lacy on his offense, right? It wasn't who was the backup for Ole Miss? Do you know?
For what?
For Ole Miss last year, running back.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because he had one. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be really interesting to see how they utilize depth. He's got 3 really good running backs. How are you going to utilize that? And it's going to be really fun to dive into Lane Kiffin's offense and the mechanics behind it. Like, of course, we know they go fast. We watched them for 1 week last year. Well, we're going to get to watch Lane Kiffin's offense a lot and get really familiarized with it. And we're going to break down film here. We're going to tell you kind of like what they're doing, what their goals are. But it's going to be fun to see like what the rotation's going to be like because they go fast. When you go fast, that means you don't rotate a lot during a drive unless you get stalled. You get like something happens in a special situation. So what's that rotation going to be like for receivers? What's that rotation going to be like for running backs? So it's going to be fun to figure out kind of how Lane is going to use such a plethora. It's a big word right there. A plethora of talent. I mean, it's a short word, but a fancy word.
Man, I knew Diggs got some carries at Ole Miss last year. You know, Logan from Louisiana, he played here. I knew he had some. I thought it was he only had 33 last year.
So that's a bell cow right there.
Oh, boy.
So you had a bell cow.
Lacey had 306. The running back
10 times more.
Now Trinidad Chambliss ran too, but still, Lacey had 306 carries. Diggs had 33.
That's 10 times more from your starting running back to your backup running back. So, to my point, it's going to be real interesting to see how, I mean, when you were talking about 03 and 07 teams, like championship teams that had, you know, running back by committee, you rode the hot hand a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't know who is going to catch it. So, if somebody's running their ass off, like, do you stick with them for the next drive? Because, like I said, like these drives, there's not going to be a lot of substitutions mid-drive. Right. If a drive goes 13 or 14 plays, you might have the same running back and receivers in there the entire time because you're going so fast, staying on schedule.
Point. Yeah.
So, like, if somebody's riding a hot hand, do you put him in the next drive or do you stick with a 3-man rotation?
Yeah.
Is it going drive by drive by drive?
I like staying with the hot hand.
I do too, and then keeping fresh legs. So, but it's going to be super fun to just kind of like see how that rotation plays out.
I say that because, like, you know how it is. Like, as a running back, if you get in a flow of things and you're 7 carries deep and you got like 4 this drive and you're starting to see the defense say, I don't really know if I'm interested in tackling that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, as a running back, you feel that. And you're like, that linebacker, he took me at first it started with his face mask. Now it's with his shoulder. He's about to olay this thing like he is a matador, and I'm about to run through him. You can feel that as a running back. So I do like getting in that flow.
Yeah.
But you do have to learn the flow of a game. Like, I knew there was going to be certain plays that Charles Scott was going to come in because Charles was really good at those. I knew there was going to be certain plays that Keelan came in because Keelan was really good at those.
Right.
Trendon was going to have his package. Like, part of the running back rotation that you're talking about, and I love it when you have a hot hand, but then that hand changes in a game. Like, it can change in a half.
Yep.
But everybody has to be bought into that for that to work.
Yep.
If you go back and you watch in 07, if Keelan scored, me and Charles met him at the hash. If I scored, Keelan and Charles met me at the hash. Same thing with Chuck, right?
Yep.
So, like, that worked because we were actually rooting for each other. I've been in running back rooms. Some at LSU, it was not the case, and it doesn't work out. But in 07, like, if you're doing it because you understand why you're doing it, that's half the battle.
Well, everybody's going to get the chance to shine. Let's just say you're riding the hot hand early, and Harlan Berry goes for the first 2 quarters. Then somebody else. But in the 4th quarter, you get a fresh leg, Caden Durham, like throw them in there. They get a chance to – because this is what Lane Kiffin's offense does. It wears you out on defense.
No doubt.
And so if you're taking if you got 3 in depth, and Lane Kiffin, make no mistake, Lane Kiffin wants to run the football. As many stats as they have, the quarterback's looking great.
His wants to run. Built around it.
It's built around the running game. Whether you choose to believe that or not, it is. And so you throw a fresh running back that could go start at any other SEC team in the 4th quarter, then it's going to be fun.
Just to give you an idea of the breakdown last year, somebody was asking if Lacey had 300, what was LSU? Caden Durham had 111, and Harlan Berry had 104. So 111, 104. And then Juwan Johnson actually had 41. So your third back had more carries than Ole Miss's second back.
And neither one of LSU's backs had as many carries as Kyron Lacey.
Now you could combine them, and
You could combine them, and they didn't have
not
as many carries.
really, not even remotely close. Still like 100.
It's still like
away.
100 out.
Yeah.
So that's how much Lane wants to run the football.
Can I admit this? And I'm not trying to throw shade at this young man. I swear I'm not. It's just,
Oh boy,
I forgot Michael Van Buren played for LSU. Kind of.
I mean,
I kind of forgot that happened just a year ago.
that 3-game span at the end of the year, everybody was so checked out. I don't necessarily blame
I
you.
called the games and I was there.
Yep.
And like now it's like, oh yeah, like,
You're physically there.
But like when I saw his name on the rushing chart, I'm like, oh yeah, he played a lot last year after Gary, obviously went down.
Van Buren boys.
Whoa,
8th president.
forgot about that. Anyways, there's your breakdown of what we're looking for in training camp. All right, we'll take a break. More OTB when we come back here live from the last segment for LSU football. One of the things that is not going to look like it did a year ago, Trades Green last year. Trades had 33 catches for 433 yards, 13 yards per catch, and 7 touchdowns. That is a good year for a college tight end, no doubt about it. But man, oh man, do I expect those numbers to look completely different this year. I cannot wait to see how they utilize Trades Green. Now, of the things that the offense did poorly last year, I would say the lone bright spot was probably Trades Green and how they utilized him at times. But to be honest, it's not that hard. He's a true unicorn. Nobody's really built like that with the strong hands that he has. He's probably the player that I'm most excited to see in an offense that is so diverse in its run game. It's diverse in the tempos that it uses. It's diverse in the concepts that they have, where he did those things that I just laid out there. 33 catches, 433 yards, 7 touchdowns, in an offense that was as predictable as any in the country. If anybody's going to benefit from this offense, it's probably going to be Trades Green, because you can't just now key in on him in the red area on third downs. And if he's put in the right positions, which I think he will be, he is going to be, was it the Mackey, Taylor, the Mackey Award for the nation's best tight end?
That's it.
I was just thinking about
He's
that.
going to be the award winner.
If he has 1,500 yards receiving, like, I don't know, 18 touchdowns, and he plays 70% of his snaps split out, does he win the Mackey or the
Blitnikoff.
Blitnikoff?
The Mackey.
Just because of what it says in the program.
Kind of like when Jimmy Graham was trying to get the franchise tag for a receiver and not a tight end. They're like, Jimmy, it says T next to your name.
Right there.
Sorry, bud.
Right there,
Like,
buddy.
we wish we could, but,
Hands are tied.
Yeah, hands are tied a little bit. The number's a little bit different. So, yeah, it'd be the Mackey.
Oh, yeah. Well, Trades, he is going to have a special season. I think that when talent meets preparation, when talent meets a great scheme, it makes for the potential to have a special season. And so we'll see. It is a big responsibility. Like, having that talent is certainly a gift and a luxury for Lane Kiffin and his staff, but it's a big responsibility as well. Like, you have to figure out how to utilize that talent. And you can't do it by just saying, all right, we're going to split them out. We're going to run the oop to you and put them one-on-one backside. Yeah. Like, you can't just do that. You have to, well, I mean,
the oop to you?
The oop to you might work with Trades.
You know what Mississippi Valley State did with the oop to you?
That's true. You have to utilize them in ways that keep it unpredictable, that line them up in different situations, create good matchups, create situations where it is not, the risk is not worth the reward for defenses to tee off on him, to double him. Yeah. Make it not advantageous for them. Now, sometimes you're going to split them out, and they are going to double. They're going to roll a safety over the top of him. They're going to cloud his side. They're going to invert his side. They're going to do different things to where they're going to take him away.
And that's when you have to make them pay.
You have to make them pay. Yeah. And so it's going to be fun to watch, and certainly he's got the talent to do it. But, I mean, like, barring injury, like, he's going to have a special season. I think that is unquestionable.
And if you don't believe us, Daquan Wright last year for Ole Miss, their tight end.
Who?
Okay. He had 39 catches for 635, 5 touchdowns, 16 yards per catch. Now, I think Wright's a good player. I really do. He was the player that you'll probably remember caught kind of the final nail in the coffin. LSU Ole Miss last year. It was a great play design on that 4th down. He's not with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's not there anymore. And look, 6'3", 250, good-looking tight end. He's not Trey'Dez Green. And that's not to besmirch him. Good player. He's going to have a chance in the NFL now. He's not Trey'Dez Green. Trey'Dez Green's a better football player. With those numbers, right, that tells you how they can utilize a tight end. I'm trying to see exactly where he fit in. He was, God, they had a lot of players with a lot of catches last year. So, I mean, Caden Lee, who was a solid receiver. I mean, Caden Lee was at media days for Ole Miss last year. They had the same exact receiving yards. The same exact. They're going to utilize a tight end. It is going to be, and by the way, Wright had less catches than Caden Lee, so he had more yards per catch. They know how to utilize a tight end in this offense when arguably your best offensive player overall, and the argument probably wouldn't last very long, that is a player that you have to make sure that he gets the football, but also what Matt's talking about, and I agree, even when he's not getting the football, he needs to affect every single play because of how you've utilized him, and that's what I think is going to be most exciting as well. The opportunities is going to open up for everyone else because you have this star player that Monday morning meetings, whenever the defensive coordinator gets in there, he's going to say, all right, guys, how do we stop number 14? That's going to start the conversation every Monday morning, and if it's not, then you're probably not utilizing him the way he should be.
Right. Trey'Dez is going to be the ultimate meeting starter this year for defensive coordinators. He's going to lead every single Monday morning meeting when teams get together to play LSU.
And that is the most respect that we can give a player. If you're a Monday morning meeting starter, that means you are a dude, and that's what Trey'Dez Green is going to be. All right, we will step away. More OTB. We'll
very popular. He's around 40 and played his
40,
absolute ass off.
Yeah,
like
he did.
Even against Argentina and Messi, and played incredible. So Landry told us like before the first game, I believe in pool play, went from like 40,000 followers to like 1.5.
Yeah.
Well, now, do you know how many followers he's got?
No.
Almost 20 million.
40,000.
Yeah, this comes on a post.
20 million.
Says in June 2026 he was at 1.5. In July 2026 it was at 19.1.
And just like to give you an like that's changed his life. If you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean? When you have that many followers on social media, the amount of money that you'll get paid for things is life changing. He'll make more with that than he probably ever made in his soccer career combined.
Oh wait,
you might think I'm crazy.
Update. This was this past weekend when I did it. This Google's telling me over 25 million viewers now. That's life-changing money.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
Now, he deserved it. He was incredible this entire World Cup. Cape Verde, what a story that was. You might hear about them because when we come back in hour number 3, we're going to start off hour number 3 with some weekend winners and some weekend losers because there were some losers out there as well.
Too.
It is.
What does that mean?
Wait, what? Weekend winners.
Okay.